The prisoner transport rattled through the corridors of Station Gamma 7, its magnetic locks humming with each turn. Inside the reinforced cage sat Velora of the Krynth Empire, her silver skin dulled by weeks of confinement, her forearms bound in energy restraints that glowed in angry red. She kept her triple-jointed legs folded beneath her, maintaining what dignity remained to a disgraced warrior of her caste. The human guard walked alongside the transport, his boots clicking against the metal floor. He was unremarkable by his species' standards. Average height, brown hair cropped short, and eyes that held neither cruelty nor particular kindness. His nameplate read Morrison, and he checked his datapad with the casual efficiency of someone performing a routine task. Velora watched him through the transparent aluminum, her black eyes tracking his movements. 3 months ago, she would have killed him without hesitation. 3 months ago, she had been a decorated officer in the Krynth expansion fleet, leading raids against human colonies on the frontier worlds. 3 months ago, her people had believed themselves superior in every measurable way. The Battle of Helios Ridge had changed everything. The transport came to a halt outside. Processing Chamber 4. Morrison tapped his authorization code, and the doors hissed open. Velora's restraints tugged her forward, and she stumbled slightly as she exited the cage. The human caught her arm reflexively, steadying her before releasing his grip and stepping back. "Watch your step," he said, his tone neutral. She straightened, pulling her dignity around herself like armor. "I require no assistance from your kind." Morrison shrugged and gestured toward the chamber entrance. "Suit yourself." The processing chamber was stark and utilitarian, equipped with medical scanners and identification terminals. Another human waited inside, a woman with gray-streaked hair, and the bearing of someone who had processed thousands of prisoners before Velora and would process thousands after. Subject 7749. The woman read from her display. Velora, formerly of the Krynth Third Fleet, multiple counts of aggression against human settlements, refused diplomatic immunity, refused repatriation. She looked up, her expression flat. "You understand you're here by choice? Your government wants you back. They've negotiated for your return." Velora's mandibles clicked shut. "I will not return to face what awaits me there." "And what's that?" "Execution. Or worse, public degradation for my failure." Velora's voice dropped. "My fleet engaged your forces expecting easy victory. We had superior numbers, superior weapons, superior tactical positioning. We had every advantage." Morrison, who had been standing by the door, spoke up. "You lost 47 capital ships in 6 hours. 49, Velora corrected, a hollow note in her voice. "And we destroyed only 3 of yours. 3. She turned to face him fully. "Do you understand what that means? For millennia, the Krynth have conquered 17 species. We have never known defeat. Our empire spans 40 systems. We are warriors bred from birth for combat. And yet here you are," the processing officer said. Velora's shoulders sagged. "Here I am." The woman tapped her screen. "Well, if you won't accept repatriation, your options are limited. Labor detail on one of the mining colonies, or technical assignment if you have useful skills." "I am a warrior. I have no other skills. Then mining it is." "Wait." Velora's voice cracked slightly. She looked at Morrison, and something desperate entered her eyes. "There is another option. An ancient tradition among my people, one we have not invoked in generations." The human officer frowned. "What tradition?" Velora sank to her knees, all forearms spreading wide in a gesture of complete submission. The words came out strangled, forced through a throat that rebelled against speaking them. "I invoke the right of surrender. I offer myself as bonded servant to the human Morrison, to serve as compensation for my crimes and the honor of my defeat. Morrison's eyes widened. What? No, absolutely not. You don't understand, Velora continued, her voice gaining strength even as her posture remained prostrate. To return to my people in disgrace is death. To serve in your minds is meaningless. But to serve the warrior who defeated me, that is honorable. That is survivable. I didn't defeat you, Morrison protested. I'm a prison guard. I've never even been in combat. Your species defeated mine. You are human. That is enough. Velora looked up at him, and her black eyes glistened with moisture. Please, I am begging you. Take me as your slave, human. It is the only way I can continue to exist without losing everything I am. The processing officer cleared her throat. This is highly irregular. It is legal under interstellar compact law, Velora said quickly. Article 47, subsection 9. Ancient cultural practices of defeated peoples must be recognized if they do not violate sentient rights. I am choosing this freely. Morrison ran a hand through his hair. This is insane. I don't want a slave. I don't want anyone serving me. Then let me work for you, Velora said, adjusting her approach. Let me earn my place. I can clean, I can cook, I can maintain equipment. I am strong and capable. I live in a studio apartment on a guard's salary. Then I will make it cleaner than it has ever been. The officer consulted her datapad, scrolling through pages of legal text. Technically, she's right. If she invokes this right, and you accept, she becomes your legal responsibility. But it's classified as a voluntary work arrangement rather than slavery under human law. You'd need to provide room and board, but she'd be required to work for you for a period of no less than 5 years. 5 years? Morrison looked horrified. It is generous, Velora said. By my people's law, the bond would be for life. Morrison stared at the kneeling alien, at her silver skin and her forearms and her black eyes that held so much desperation. He thought about the war, about the footage he had seen of burning colonies and evacuated stations. He thought about the battle reports, about how humanity had been pushed to the brink before finally figuring out how to fight back. He thought about mercy. Get up, he said quietly. Velora rose slowly, hope and fear warring in her expression. If we do this, Morrison continued, we do it right. You're not a slave. You're not property. You work for me, yeah, but you get treated with respect. You get your own space. You get time off. You get to eat real food and have access to entertainment and education. Understood? Velora's mandibles trembled. You would grant me such things? I'm human. We don't do slavery anymore. We decided a long time ago that it was wrong. Even for those who attacked you? Morrison met her eyes. Especially for those who attacked us. Because that's what makes us different. The officer made a note on her datapad. I'll need both of you to sign about 40 forms. And Morrison, you'll need to attend a cultural sensitivity training course. Of course I will, Morrison muttered 3 weeks later. Velora stood in Morrison's small apartment, which she had cleaned until every surface gleamed. She had organized his belongings, repaired his faulty food processor, and taught herself to cook human meals using the station's network database. She had claimed the storage closet as her sleeping space, padding it with spare blankets until it was comfortable for her alien physiology. Morrison came home from his shift to find her standing by the window, looking out at the stars. Dinner's ready, she said without turning. I made something called pasta. The database said it was popular. Thanks. He set down his bag and joined her at the window. You okay? I received a message today from my clutch sister. She said I am dead to my people, that my name has been struck from the family records. Morrison waited, letting the silence stretch. She said I was a coward for choosing this path. Velora's reflection in the window showed no expression. She said I brought shame upon our entire bloodline. What do you think? Velora turned to face him. I think I am alive. I think I am learning things I never knew. I think your species defeated mine, not because you were stronger or smarter, but because you were more adaptable. You were willing to change, to learn, to try new approaches. My people only knew one way to be, and when that way failed, we had nothing left. She paused, her forearms gesturing at the small apartment. Here, in this tiny space, I am learning what it means to build instead of destroy. I am learning that strength is not only in combat. I am learning that there are many kinds of honor. Morrison smiled slightly. The pasta smells good. I followed the recipe exactly. Then it'll probably be terrible. Cooking's more art than science. Velora's mandibles curved upward in what Morrison had learned was her version of a smile. Then tomorrow I will make it worse, till I understand how to make it better. They ate together at Morrison's small table, an unlikely pair bound by war and mercy. Outside the window, the stars turned slowly, indifferent to the small dramas of the species that traversed the space between them. Velora had called out in disgrace, begging to be taken as a slave. Morrison had answered with something more radical. He had offered her humanity, and in that exchange, both of them had found something neither had expected. The warrior learned peace. The guard learned purpose. And in a universe still trembling from the aftershocks of war, two individuals discovered that the future belonged not to the strongest or the most numerous, but to those willing to see beyond the boundaries of their own kind. The pasta was indeed terrible. They ordered delivery instead, and argued cheerfully about which human foods were worth trying next.